Hey guys, it's Jess on the case. You know I'm always on the case. Brr. I just had to do that and I did it wrong. I meant brr. I don't know where you guys are, but it's cold here. And I just got off work. That's how you know I'm a real person. I had to do this video. It was on my mind and I'm like, oh my god, I have new subscribers. Shout out to Kill Illuminati Media. Kill Illuminati Media is the bomb. And let me say that again. Kill Illuminati Media is the bomb. Anybody on my channel that's not subscribed to him, subscribe. We have a couple things to talk about, guys. Shout out to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you. Even to my old subscribers, thank you for hanging out with Jess on the case. We are always on the case, guys. Even when they think we're not there, we're lurking. To my new subscribers, my name's Jess on the case. My purpose for being on YouTube is to bring awareness to everybody. Not just one specific group of people. Everyone. There is no such thing as one specific group of people, guys. We are the human race. And we came in this world the same way through our moms. And we're going to leave out of this world the same way. 6 feet under, not coming back. No matter how you look at it. And when we realize that we're all family, we will be able to join hands and everybody will be able to work things out. And we will be a better nation, period. Countries and everything. Until then, we're just going to be Jess on the case. So today, I have a couple things I want to talk about, guys. And you guys know how I am. I'm not perfect. And I'm going to say it like I mean it and say it how it is. We all going to have different opinions. And that's fine with me. You guys know I'm chill. Just be respectful and we're good. There's no way everybody can have the same opinion. Do you understand? And everybody from like my previous subscribers, they already know how we get down. And my new subscribers, like I said, thank you. Now we're going to get into it. First thing I wanted to talk about, guys, oh my God, is Aniah. Aniah Blanchett. So we got some news, and I know you guys are like, well, we already know that. Well, guys, we got to give our commentary on it, and it's, you know, it's just on the case. So what I'm going to say is I have a problem. If they found Aniah's body, why is this suspect yelling and like just hollering like you don't have any proof? If you didn't do it, why do you care if somebody has proof or not? Like, honestly, that really rings out to me. Guilty. Because there's a time and place for things. And when you get into the courthouse, if you want anybody to take you serious, first of all, blurting out and yelling, that's not going to help your case. If anything, the jury and the judge is going to look at you like, okay, if you can get that upset, I can see how you can murder someone. I mean, it's all about keeping your composure. I'm not saying that's going to stop you from going to prison. But at least it will let the judge know, okay, you know, he has some type of decency. She has some type of decency about herself. You're in the courthouse and you're yelling, you don't have any proof. Where's the proof? Are you asking them or are you telling them that they don't have proof? Because to me, it sounds like you're asking, but you don't want to ask. Because you feel like they have something and maybe you were sitting in your little jail cell, nervous and thinking like, you know, how can I ask this without asking? And guys, I know what you guys are going to say. He's guilty. We know. But I'm just saying, this doesn't even make him look any better, yelling. I mean, at this point, you just need to be honest. I thought she was pretty, and I grabbed her, and I was, I did something I didn't have any business doing. I feel like sometimes maybe that's how people get capital murder. Not just that, but I'm just saying that's one of the reasons. You show no remorse and you're yelling at people in the courtroom. And you don't have the right to do that anymore. Your rights have been taken. You don't have the freedom of speech anymore. Anything that you say will be held against you in the court of law. So what you should be doing is trying to stay polite, keep your composure, and, anything that you can prove that will prove that you're not there, that's fine. But at this point, you're just digging a hole for yourself, and you're already in that hole because we know that you did it. We know you did it. Moving on. Guys, there is another story. And I know you guys have probably heard this story before, but I'm intrigued by this story. And it's the Millbrook twins. And there was a podcast that had an error on the oxygen channel. And it was about the Millbrook twins, and they disappeared. The problem with this story is the Millbrook twins disappeared, and it was said that they did not run away. That they did run away. And they did not actually just disappear. They ran away from home, and that was it. They even, after a year of not finding them, some dummy said that they were found. And I call this person a dummy because that was dumb, guys. That was dumb. And being an officer, detective, and investigator, you are being held accountable. People are counting on you to do the right thing. And when you don't, they want to know, what were you doing? Why would you do that? And the reason why I said what I said is because just think about this. Okay, you have two girls missing at the same time, and they're twins. What happened was they left home and they went to the store. When they got to the store, they got some snacks. Somebody was following them. So they went to their sister's house and they wanted the sister to walk them back home. But the sister could not because she was pregnant. Well, and she couldn't walk with them. So the twins had to set out on their own. By the way, they stopped other places. And when they got home, they told their mom that somebody had been following them. So, right there, that was an era where somebody should have went with them the next time they went out. However, they went out again and they went else place, and it was told that they would go to their father's house and spend time there. It was also said, and this is just allegedly, but I'm telling you guys, this is what was kind of said, that the dad would have drugs and drug dealers in his home, and that he was on drugs, and that he would get the drugs free to let them sell the drugs out of his home. And while all of this is going on, the Millbrook twins are going to their dad's house where all of this is going on. What was said was they went there and guys, it's just a lot. That wasn't the actual place that they kind of said that they were last at. But there is a part 2, and what happened was the podcast reached out to someone that was a friend of the dad's, and he is in prison. The podcast wrote him a letter because the podcast were the only people that really cared about these two girls missing for 30 years, guys. 30 years their mom didn't and couldn't find them. And the person that was on the case to help said after a year of them being missing that they were found. And he said he heard that from word of mouth. Not that he saw them. Not that he talked to them. That somebody told him that they saw them. He doesn't know if that person had something to do with their crime and was trying to cover it up. He just went in there and said they were found. So at that point, the mother just didn't believe it, nor did the other sisters. They didn't believe that two of them just ran away from home and is not trying to contact the mother. The mother said they always came home from school, they were never late, and they were happy. And you could see video of all of them dancing, and they were happy. And who is not going to contact their parents for 30 years? I mean, like 2 girls. I can see if it's just 1, it's 2. And so I'm pretty sure everybody has fallen out with somebody in their family. And then after a couple years or maybe a couple months or a couple weeks, you went back and you felt it in your heart and you was like, you know what? I'm just going to squash the beef. So my issue is, okay, why do they feel like it's okay for 2 people from the same household to be missing for 30 years? And go by he said, she said that they were found, but cannot actually have proof that they're doing well and they're fine. I could see if you had a picture, an updated picture of the 2 with the time on it and everything, or you talk to them, you have the recording and the mom can say that's their voices, or you actually have video that you saw them, but you don't. You're going by word of mouth from somebody. On top of that, in part 2, the podcast reaches out to, like I said, the girl's father's friend. And they ask him, does he have any information? Does he know anything? And he actually comes out and says, I may have some information. So the podcast set out to go to the man that was in prison. He had a daughter. They set out to go to her house because he told them the next day he would give them a phone call and they could talk about what he knew. When they got there, this wasn't actually the podcast. This was actually like a homicide detective that was now retired and a prosecutor. And they went together because they wanted to get this case solved. And so they sat down with the daughter of the friend of the father of the girls that was in prison, sat down with his daughter, waited for his phone call. It kind of seemed like at first he wasn't going to call. He did not call that day. So they were asking the daughter, like, did he tell you anything? At first, she was very reluctant, and you can tell in her face that she was just not comfortable in telling what her dad told her. I understand that, and you guys just understand, like, okay, you're always supposed to tell the truth, but sometimes you feel like you're throwing somebody under the bus, or your family member is going to treat you wrong. You're going to feel like a snitch because that person told you not to tell, and maybe you told anyway. And she was having a fight with herself where she had to ask for a few moments. She came back and she said, I'm just going to tell him. And she was like, he said he might know where they're buried. She was like, they're not alive anymore. And so he didn't call that day. They tried to press her for more information. And they were like, is that all he said? And she was like, yes. So the next day, she gave them a call and said he's ready to speak. They were on lockdown, and that's why he couldn't call them. And so they were off lockdown, and now he was able to speak. So what he did was he actually called while they were sitting there, and they asked him, do you have any information on the Millbrook twins? He said, yes. I remember because I was 12 years old, and I was hanging out at the house with the older people you know, and they were selling drugs out of the house. And I remember the twins coming over there. One of the twins actually got out of character, was smoking weed and drinking. So he said that he felt like they kind of led her into that. And when they saw she was vulnerable, one of them took her back and raped her. The other sister, being the protector, grabbed and tried to fight for her sister. And what they ended up doing was punching the sister that was trying to fight for the other one. And actually, when they punched her, he said that her face hit the table and her head busted wide open. These twins were named Danette and Jeanette. And after that happened, he said he was looking through the window and he said that they asked everybody to get out of the house. He said after that night, he no longer saw the twins ever again. So the detective, which was retired, he was a homicide detective, and the prosecutor was then trying to get the sheriff to do something about the information that they received from the man in jail. So the sheriff said that he would send some of his men, and they would go up there and they would try to collaborate the story to get, to get an indictment. So somehow everybody's happy. She had to tell the family. They were crying because they were hoping that the girls were alive. When the next day or 2 weeks go by, the sheriffs and 2 other deputies say they want to meet with the people. They meet up, and the 2 deputies, they ask them, is there any good news? They said, right now we can't tell you anything, but it's looking good. So then a week or so later, the sheriff wants to speak to the prosecutor and the actual retired homicide detective in his office. So they go up there, and the sheriff actually said that he couldn't collaborate the story with what they were told from the inmate. He said that the inmate had said that he had the wrong people, the wrong 2 girls. So the prosecutor and the homicide detective was very distraught, and they were trying to ask the sheriff questions like, he just told us that you guys coerced him into saying that he had the wrong 2. And he said, people in prison lie, and some of them don't tell the truth. After that, he kind of grabbed his jacket like this, like basically buttoning it up, like shrugging his shoulders, getting up, like, y'all better get out of here because I'm not answering any more questions. That's what he looked like, guys. And when he did that, I could automatically feel like he's going to kick y'all out. So y'all better just go ahead and get up. Get up. And they had to go tell the family. After they told the family that they had, they told them everything. Everything I just told you. They had to go back and tell them that this is what he said. I believe that the man in prison knows exactly what he's talking about. There's no way he could just make up a story like that. And he was like, I can tell you where they would normally dump bodies. I cannot tell you exactly where the body is because I don't know. Like I said, they kicked us out, but I know about where they normally put bodies. And he sent them there. When they looked around, it was just too big. And they were like, we're going to need help. But I don't know, because of how the sheriff was acting, they never went out there and tried to check anything. And with that, I just think it was a money thing. Like, we don't want to waste money on this. And them twins could have been out there, guys. They could have been out there. And I just feel like some stuff is swept under the rug. Like, no matter what color you are, it's just swept under the rug. If they don't want to deal with it as a state or as a county, and they don't want to lose money, they will just sweep it under the rug and just be like, they ran away. And don't want to hear anything else anybody else has to say about it. So I really honestly believe that this man knows what he's talking about. He knew that that was Mr. Millbrook's daughters. He said that he saw them. How could he get them mixed up with anybody if he said that he saw them time and time after again? And now they're basically trying to say that he had the wrong girls. He gave detailed information that one of those girls was trying to stop her sister from getting raped, and they punched her and her head hit the table and busted wide open, guys. It's funny how after that happened, he said he never saw them again. And it's funny how the sheriff knew who Little Cheese was and was smiling like, yeah, a little crack smile like, yeah, we dealt with, I know who those people are. We've dealt with them in the past. Well, do you have some type of relationship with them? Because you didn't even try your hardest, and you promised those people that you would do whatever you could to look into that situation. And you shut everything down as soon as somebody tried to give you a legitimate lead and you did not follow through with it correctly. You shut him down as soon as he talked. And even if he changed his story, people change their story all the time. And it still means that you need to look into it. And guys, I'm at the end, and I did not want this to be long. But I feel like something needs to be done. Like, somebody else is going to have to come into, that was Augusta, Georgia. Somebody's going to have to come into there that has nothing to do with the state or the county and do something. And follow up on things. Because there could be millions of people in Augusta missing. And they could be out there in that yard that that man sent them to. And they're out there and their families are trying to bury their loved ones. But they can't because the sheriff does not want to do anything. That leads me to my last person. And guys, you know I have to talk about this one. Madeleine. And the only thing I'm going to say is somebody needs to be held accountable. I'm sorry. But somebody needs to be held accountable for Madeleine. Maddie is nowhere to be found. Her mother and father are, I'm not going to say they're pretending because I don't know. But it seems like to me nobody is doing a lot to see anymore about traces of her. You know, we got all this money and they're not anywhere closer to the day she disappeared. And they tell you they have new information and it's nothing, guys. And I keep talking about this because I'm mad about it. Maddie was too little to be missing. And nobody knows where she is. And what are we going to let some more people start attacking our kids and just stealing them? Like, oh, she wasn't found. I'm going to go steal this one. I'm the same person that stole her. They didn't find out. I'm going to go steal somebody else. Oh, or it could go other way. I'm a neglectful parent. Let me neglect my other two kids because they didn't care that I neglected this one. The parents did do something wrong. And they did neglect Maddie because they should have not left any of those kids in the house by themselves. There were 2 twin babies and Maddie. Maddie was like 4 or 5. The twins weren't even 1. And so I'm looking at this like, how is it okay to go down the street at the tapas bar and have a late night snack and wine and you have 3 kids that you need to be taken care of? I'm never going to forget this, and I'm not going to let go of it until they come up with something else. Okay? Because we cannot keep letting people get away with things like this. We just can't. I'm just on the case, and I'm always on the case, guys.